On the night of May 26, 2023, police in a small Texas town got a 911 call. The responding officer almost didn't take seriously. The caller kept saying a man was attacking someone right out in the open, and wasn't just hurting him, but eating him, and no matter what anybody did, he wouldn't stop. The officer figured it had to be a prank, or someone who'd had way too much to drink. He drove out to check anyway. What his body camera picked up that night is something he probably still thinks about.
Hey! Let me see your hands! Let me see your hands! Let me see your hands! Let me see your hands!
The headlights land on a man down on the ground with another man crouched over him, tearing into him like nothing else in the world existed. He doesn't back away, doesn't flinch when the light hits him. The officer steps out shouting for him to show his hands and says it once, then again, then several more times faster each time. The man never looks up, no answer, and no sign he even knows someone's standing there. The officer draws his weapon and fires, and the man reacts to none of it. Another round goes into him, and still nothing changes. It takes several more before he finally goes down, and even then he drops slower than a body ever should. Like something in him was refusing to let go.
Hey! 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 Don't do shots fired! Shots fired!
People started calling it exactly what it looked like once the footage got out. A zombie attack caught on camera by an officer who had no idea what he was walking into. Some landed on the grounded answer that the guy was high on something heavy, the kind of drug that can numb a person so completely they barely register a bullet. Honestly, I sort of get why. It's the safe answer, the one that lets you close the tab and move on. But others weren't buying it. No drug really explains a man soaking up round after round while moving with that flat, empty focus, like there was nobody home behind his eyes. Whatever was running him that night, to them, was never in his blood to begin with. Something else was wearing him. Barely any details ever came out afterward, and no real explanation was ever made public. Whatever happened on that road, all that's left is a couple of minutes of footage and an officer yelling the same command over and over into a face that had already stopped being a man. Case 2. The woman on the train. A woman was sitting on a train, riding along like anyone else, except the people around her could tell right away something wasn't right with her. She was acting in a way that made the whole car uneasy, twitchy, and wrong, and passengers said later it looked less like a person having some kind of episode, and more like a person who'd been taken over by something. Then, out of nowhere, she lunged at the man sitting next to her. He had to fight her off, and the whole car goes crazy. You can hear people shouting over each other on the footage.
Next stop, Churchill Station.
Whoa, chill. Whoa, shit. Hey, she's probably possessed. No, she's probably just...
Everybody scrambling to figure out what they're even looking at. Somebody calls emergency services. It takes real work to get her down and hold her there.
Nah, I'm clear of that bullshit.
Sit down. Everyone sit down.
Put your hand behind your back. Do it now.
Got a hand back.
I think, no, I think.
When the police finally got her under control, they couldn't explain her either. She wasn't drunk, she wasn't high, there was nothing in her system. No history of mental illness, nothing on record. Just a woman who snapped on a train with no reason anyone could point to, and everyone there walked away asking the same thing. Was she actually possessed? Case 3. The House. On New Year's Eve of 2022, 3 officers got sent to a house in a small Polish town after a neighbor called in about noises coming from inside it. And these weren't the kind you shrug off. The man on the phone said he heard deep growling and heavy thumping and high screeches he swore no house should ever make. He wouldn't walk over and look for himself. He called it in and stayed well back. Whatever those officers found in there scared them so bad, a paramedic had to be sent out just to calm them down. It's the paramedic's camera that filmed most of what you're about to see.
Jezu, jak to ona tak warczy? Ja pierdzielę. No, totalnie.
Pierdolę, ja dostaję tylko 1000 zł, kurwa, tam. Idź pan do...
Uważaj.
The people trained to stay calm when everything goes wrong were the ones who needed help staying calm. The house had a past nobody in that town liked to talk about. A long time ago, it belonged to a family known for the worst thing a family can be known for. They killed people. That family had been dead for years, but the place still sat rotting on the edge of town, like it was waiting for someone to come back. Someone did. A 20-year-old girl named Camila walked in that night, and not by accident. She went in to call up the spirits of that family, and everyone they'd killed. It didn't take long before she stopped acting like herself. She locked herself in one of the rooms, and wouldn't come out. Her friends kept saying the same thing after, that it wasn't Camila in there anymore, that something had gotten inside her and taken over.
Camila.
Ona jest nad nami u góry, od góry coś widzi.
Znamione byśmy się zamienili pozycjami, to mógłbyśmy sobie zrobić.
Odsuń się i
Nie?
go łeb, kurwa.
Drut ma jakiś.
Nie, niech pan wyjdzie i obróciły mnie tego wyglądu.
Milka! Tu jesteś, dzikuska. Chodź, misiu. Nie bardziej jak świnia, kurwa. Chodź. Chodź tu, kurwo. Chodź tu. Chodź tu, Kamilka. Kamilka, tu coś cię widzę. No nie czołgaj się. Kamilka. Kamilka, dziecko cię woła. Kamilka. Wiktoria cię woła.
There was no reaching her. The officers tried the attic, coming in from outside the house, and even that went wrong. In the end, they had to pull her out by force and rush her straight to the hospital. A big part of what happened in that room got cut, and nobody's ever seen it. Then it got stranger. The second Camila reached the hospital, she was calm, normal, like nothing had touched her. She said she couldn't remember one thing about the house. The doctors checked her head and found nothing wrong with it. They tested her blood for anything that might explain it and got back nothing. No drugs, no substance, no answer. Nobody who was there has ever been able to say what got into her inside that house. Not the doctors, not her friends, not Camila. Case 4. The security guard. During a night shift at a private office building somewhere in Colombia, a security guard was doing his usual rounds when the CCTV cameras caught him stopping in the middle of an empty hallway. He waves at someone, starts talking, nodding, moving his hands the way people do when they're standing right in front of another person. According to the guard, an old woman had wandered into the building asking for directions, and he'd stopped to help her. On the security footage, there's nobody there. The camera shows an empty hallway the whole time, and the guard is having a full conversation with nothing. After a few minutes, his radio crackles and a coworker watching the live feed asks him who he's talking to. The guard says he's helping a visitor, and the voice on the other end tells him that the building's entry logs are clean, the motion sensors haven't gone off once, and he is the only person on the whole floor. In the footage, you can see the exact moment it hits him. He doesn't ask questions, doesn't look around, he just runs. He goes straight for the elevator, hits the button, and when the doors don't open fast enough, he gives up on it and sprints out of the building. He never came back to work after that night. The footage was later taken down because he asked for it to be, and his coworkers said afterward that whatever he was talking to that night knew exactly how to look like someone who needed help. Case 5. The plane. Back in November of 2018, a security guard named Francisco Hernandez was wrapping up his shift at the airport in Mexico City when he heard a sound coming from somewhere it shouldn't have been coming from. It was late, the place was winding down, and the noise was coming from inside one of the planes that was sitting empty on the tarmac with nobody on board. His job meant he couldn't just walk past it, so he grabbed his torch and climbed up into the aircraft to see what was making it.
Verga.
The plane was dark and dead quiet, just rows of empty seats running off into the black at the far end, and he starts moving down the aisle, sweeping his light around. That's when he sees it.
No mames.
Verga. No mames.
Down at the end, peering around the corner at him, there's a shadowy figure just watching him from the dark. This is a grown man trained to handle real threats, and it left him shaking, because whatever was looking back at him was not a person and had no business being on that plane. His camera caught it too, this dark shape standing in the shadows, and to this day nobody can say what he ran into up there. Case 6. The School at Night. So this was November 2022. A security guard films himself doing his usual rounds through a school that's shut for the night, totally empty, and what he ends up catching is the kind of thing you really don't want sitting on your camera roll.
Yan. Ano yun? Ibutan ko, iba na yun. So yan guys, ito yung trabaho ko guys. Napaka delikado. So yan, nakita niyo, diba? Biglang sumira yung pinto. So nakabahan ako guys. Walang gagawin ko. So grabe yung ano ko, tumindig yung balahibo ko. So ano ito? Hindi ko alam kung pagpatuloy ko pa to. Kasi yun guys, ano ba to? Wala tayong magagawa guys. Tayo dadaan. So check natin yung kinakabahan ko guys.
First couple minutes are nothing. Him, a flashlight, one dark hallway into the next, just getting through the job like he's done 100 times before. Then a door slams. By itself. No wind, nobody near it, nothing. This heavy door just throwing itself shut in a building that's meant to be empty for the night. And you can hear the exact moment it hits him, cause his breathing goes all shallow, like he just needs someone to watch this back later and tell him he didn't imagine it.
So yun guys, narinig mo yun? Check natin guys kung ano yung so grabe yung balahibo ko guys. Check natin. So ayan yung pintuan na akong malabog. So check natin guys. Yun, narinig ko ngayon guys na naka-on yung ano yan, ito yun guys. So yung kita niyo yung mga bangko guys. Yan, walang tao dyan guys ha. Tapos yung electric fan sa itaas yan o, parang may kakaiba talaga dito guys.
Normal person leaves. He doesn't. I'd have been in my car already, but this guy actually heads toward it, goes deeper in, past all these pitch black classrooms, till he gets to the thing that really does him in. A fan. There's a fan running, going full speed in the middle of an empty room, middle of the night, in a school where all that power is supposed to be off, and there is not one person anywhere who could have switched it on. Just spinning there in the dark by itself. He films it a while, not really moving, and you can just tell his head's not catching up to it.
Yun, kita nyo. Yun guys, oh. Yun guys. Ito yun. Yun guys, oh. Kita nyo. So, grabe yung so, kailangan natin i-off yung ano. Grabe, nakakatakot dito guys, sobra. So check natin, pasukin natin guys para kita nyo yung send guys. Guys, Lord guys. So Ito yung trabaho ko guys. Grabe. Sobrang nakakatakot guys. Grabe yung...
And after that, he sort of falls apart. Cameras all over the place. Every shadow's setting him off. And he finally gets the fan shut off. Except now the room's dead silent, which is somehow worse. That's it for him. He's out. Spins around and gets down that hall fast. Done with whatever's back there. Nobody ever figured out what shut that door or ran that fan. People go, it's old wiring. It's a draft, okay? But wiring doesn't throw a door shut, and a draft's not spinning a fan flat out. And that guy left 100% sure something was in there with him the whole time. Case 7. The Woman in the Woods. This one comes from a guy who explores abandoned places for a living. He films himself going into old buildings, forgotten spots, ruins, and he'd been doing it for years without anything really going wrong. A few homeless people here and there, maybe a druggie, nothing worse than that. Then one night, he and 3 friends went back to an abandoned campground deep in a forest, a place he'd already been to twice before.
Dit is zo creepy, maat. Ja, hoor. Hoor, daar is. Dat is daar rechts.
And this time, somebody was living out there. Somebody who did not want them anywhere near it. The first sign that something was off came before they even reached the campground. There were handmade signs nailed up along the way. Beware of the guard dog, private property. And then stranger ones, signs saying it was now a place of prayer, asking people to respect the space. All of it clearly made by hand by whoever had taken over the forest.
Hier gaat iemand wonen gewoon nog. Dat kan toch niet aan? Hoezo? What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh. Dat is toch niet mijn auto of zo, hè? Hier, maat. Hier wordt letterlijk iemand gemarteld. Hier wordt letterlijk iemand gemarteld in dat bos. Dit is heel fucked. Daar is geen licht, kijk. Daar is geen licht. Dit is heel fucked. Dus... Kom verder. Stel je voor, dat is mijn auto. What the fuck is dit, kerel? Die zit er ook uit. Ja, wat komt daar? Ik zie ze. Zit daar in een lampje. Zo rechts. Ja, die komt naar hier. Kom naar hier. Kom naar hier. Blijf gewoon hier.
The old holiday park he remembered, the little cabins and caravans spread through the trees, had turned into something else completely, and you can feel him getting uneasy on camera, even while he tells himself to keep going. They walked in on what looked like a normal path, the kind people walk their dogs on during the day. And that's when they heard it. A sound coming from deeper in the woods that stopped all of them cold. He says it sounded like someone being tortured, this raw screaming coming through the trees. Their only way back out was toward the road where the car was parked, and that's exactly where the sound and a bright light were coming from.
Hallo. Hallo. What the fuck? What the fuck? Hey. Wat? Kom. 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 Ja, wacht. Hallo? Hallo? Je moet nu naar hier komen. Fuck. Ik hoor u niet, sorry. We zijn... Hallo? Ja, we zitten hier in een bos in de Centerlo. We zijn hier in een bos en dat is een verlaten bungalowpark. En ineens komt er een man met een mes of zoiets op ons af. We zijn hier met 3. En ik hoorde ook kloppen. Ik denk dat mijn auto kapot is geslagen. En we zijn vies aan het gaan lopen. Zijn jurissen.
Somebody was down there, so they couldn't run for the car, and they didn't know what was in the other direction. All they could do was turn off their lights, stand dead still in the dark, and hope whoever was out there didn't find them. She found them anyway. A woman, dressed head to toe in white, her face painted white too, holding a flashlight behind her body so they wouldn't see the beam coming. In the dark, all they saw was a tiny dot of light drifting toward them. When she got close, he turned his own light on because he actually wanted to talk, to ask what was wrong. She didn't slow down. The second they backed away, she sped up and came after them, and you can see it on camera, the moment a bad night turns into running for your life. They ran until they couldn't. He fell hard, saved his camera, rolled, kept going, and ended up alone behind a tree in another patch of woods across the road. He sat there for 20 minutes, listening to that woman scream through the trees, and what she screamed, he caught part of it on tape, was that if they ever came back to her forest, she would kill them.
Ja, ik heb een rode auto met witte letters op de achterop. Ja. Ja, iets verder, maar ik moet ik al net... Ja, iets verder rechts, ik zie jullie wel heel goed. Moet ik komen? Ik ga komen. Ja, ik ben het. Ja, is goed. Ja. Ja.
Moet je even uw jas open doen? Jas open doen, ja. Goed, omdraaien.
Alleen zij. Ja, zij is ook maar.
Ja, die is vast.
Kom niet?
Ja, die is vast.
Ja, die is vast.
Blijf staan!
Kijken wat met uw auto is. Ready? Hoeveel? Ja, dat is eraf gedaan. Ja, die is er van afgetrokken.
Stop daar eens! Blijf maar, ja. Maar dit is gewoon... Hé, niet kallen!
Ja, een beetje.
Hé, ligt er niet aan. Oh, mevrouw, dit is de laatste keer. Hier blijven.
Maar wat is het?
Je gaat hier blijven.
Ofwel moet ik mee met mijn vrouw mee, ofwel moet ik hier blijven.
Ja, goed. Kom nog niet luisteren naar mij.
Nee, ik ga niet luisteren.
Hé, beetje respect hebben voor de kleren, ja?
Dat is geen respect hebben voor mij. Nee, dat gaan we niet.
Mevrouw?
Nee, dat gaan we niet doen. Dat gaan we niet doen. Nee!
Oké, gedaan. Nu is het gedaan, ja? Pak die lamp. Pak die lamp. Pak die lamp.
Wacht eens. Deze collega doet dat niet. Kun je gewoon een beetje allemaal normaal? Maar nee, waarom moet je mij laten zitten?
He called the police, half hyperventilating. They showed up in force, and they found her. She sat on the ground surrounded by officers, staring at him, and then she smiled. Smiled at him for a full minute, this wide, unblinking grin like something out of a horror movie, and that's the image he says he can't get out of his head. Case 8. The Manor. On the night of August 14th, 2022, a small paranormal channel went live and headed out to an abandoned manor they'd been to before, a place they called Oaks and Hares Manor, and by the end of the night, they were convinced the thing living inside it had tried to kill them. They'd brought better gear this time, a new microphone and a camera flash they hoped would let them actually see whatever was in there. And they walked in around midnight already feeling off, because on their last trip, something had made its presence known, and they had a bad feeling it was still around.
Ты можешь выйти с нами на связь?
Ну, поднимемся.
Нет, здесь что-то есть, по-любому.
Твой, слышишь?
Да.
Как будто бы.
Здесь?
Не. То ли с улицы.
Я слышу. Слышу я.
Так не понимаю, откуда.
The first thing that stopped them cold was a toy. It was sitting right at the entrance, and it hadn't been there the last time they came, which meant either someone had been inside since, or something had put it there for them to find. One of them caught a glimpse of a face out of the corner of his eye near the doorway, the kind of thing you feel before you see, and he said the goosebumps ran straight down his back. They pushed on anyway and set up at a table to run a session, pulling out a spirit box to try and get whatever was there to talk to them.
Мы последний раз внизу связывались.
Давай тогда разместимся где-нибудь сейчас.
Угу. Что?
Ты ее не ложил-то?
Нет еще.
Его тут не было.
Не было. Блин, ты рукой показал, увидел я его и вообще.
Здесь есть кто-нибудь? Его не было в прошлый раз.
Не, есть возможность, что и приезжал кто-то еще, помимо нас. Но выглядит, конечно, это, знаешь, страшно так прямо на заходе.
Да, именно, знаешь, встречает нас.
Да.
For a while, it was mostly silence and strange interference, the box refusing to give them anything clean. So they kept moving through the manor, asking the same questions over and over. Is anyone here? Are you from the world of the dead? And slowly the place started answering in its own way. Chairs they'd left neatly arranged were suddenly scattered and turned in different directions. Quiet noises kept coming from rooms they weren't in. When one of them made a flash go off, he swore he saw something pass by in the frame, there for a split second and gone.
Что это было, блин? Ох, что нам делать?
Кого казнили? Тебя? Я не ухожу, я здесь.
Then, it stopped being about noises and started being about them. The thing got stronger, louder, moving objects around, and one of the guys realized what was actually happening. It wasn't just trying to scare them, it was trying to get them to hurt themselves. Case 9. The Possessed Guard. A paranormal team was in the middle of a live investigation at the Haunted Hill House, one of the most famous haunted places in the country, when their night got interrupted by someone none of them expected.
Okay, great. Let's start over again. You were working and you saw something.
Yes, sir, on that side of the house. A lady. It was kind of looked like a old, I don't know, kind of old 40s, 50 nurse outfit. I mean, I just moved here and I was legit driving by, and that's why I stopped. I thought someone was sitting on the side of the house and no one's there. You're the one that met me at the door, so
yeah,
hence why I knocked. But
A security guard showed up at the door, and the team says he came in looking like he wasn't fully himself. The guard told them he'd been driving past the house when he saw a woman on the side of it. Older, dressed in what looked like an old nurse's outfit from way back, the 40s or 50s. He'd only just moved to the area, didn't know anything about the place, and he stopped because he was sure someone was sitting inside.
Can we go in the house?
And that's discounts fine, though, right? Yeah, outside looking up through the window. There we go.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, we're inside, Tim.
Do you have a signal?
Are we good?
We're good.
Okay. Well, I think we got everything.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, yeah, let's. Yep, send over here.
Over there.
What's sorry?
Can we go that way?
I'm sorry, what?
Can we go that way?
Why? No, you cannot.
No, I can't.
No, you can't.
Not at all.
When he looked properly, there was nobody there. That's already strange enough, but it's what happens once he's inside that put the team on edge. He starts trying to steer them around the house, telling them where they can and can't go, getting pushy about it. The way he was acting made them wonder if something had followed him in, or worse, come in wearing him, trying to get through a door it couldn't open on its own. Case 10. The Leaping Figure. A woman walked into a police station in Trstenik, a small town in Serbia, terrified. She said something had followed her to the town fair, jumping from one streetlight to the next through the dark. She filed her report and left. Not long after, it turned up on the officer's own cameras.
Ne pojavljuje se vreno, što vrestati.
Napravim dete. To nikad nije bilo do sad. Koliko prati?
Evo.
Evo. Lepo na ovome.
Evo, uđe dežur.
Evo, ti je lakše mislim.
One of them was watching the CCTV feed when something moved at the end of a dark hallway inside the building. He leaned in, called the others over, and on the screen a shape starts to form in a hallway they all knew was empty. It's pale, white, almost see-through, like a person drawn in light and left half-finished. It comes off the wall and slides across the floor, and this is the part that gets you. It doesn't walk. No steps, no legs, nothing. It just glides toward the middle of the hall and pulls back into the shadows.
Nije u dežurnu, dole ode. U trojku kod mene. Uvatio ga. Gledaj sam, evo će, gledaj sam. Izađe kao iz zida.
I sad u dežuru uđe?
To mi žena jedna tako pričala da nju pratila kad išli na vašar. Ja sam se zabavio. Kao Dragoš ide po banderama i ide za njim.
Koliko lepše na mobilu.
The whole room is crowded around that screen and somebody says it, that it's the thing the woman described. So they go check the hallway. Nothing. Empty. Gone in the time it took to walk over. Case 11. The Woman on the Highway. One night in October of 2017, traffic came to a dead stop on a busy highway in Brazil. And when you see why, it's hard to look away. There's a woman lying in the middle of the road, and her body is bending in ways a body just shouldn't bend, twisting like she'd lost all control of herself and something else was moving her instead. The traffic officer who found her froze up for a second, clearly shaken by what he was looking at, and he had to call for backup before he could even deal with it. A few drivers pulled over to help him, and together they managed to drag her off the road and get her into the back of a car while everyone waited for the police to show up. But the thing that really rattled the people standing there wasn't the way she was moving at all. It was her face. She had this empty, hollow stare, her eyes wide open with nobody behind them, and nobody could shake the feeling they were watching something that wasn't quite human anymore.
Você via ali, eu parei lá, não dava pra pular.
Eu falei, eu tava parado ali, eu pensei que era outra ali, eu pensei que era só isso.
Tá deitado na
Tava deitado.
Ele parou, falei, se for assalto, ele já...
Plenty of people said afterward it was just drugs, and maybe it was, but a lot of the ones who watched that footage walked away sure that something had gotten inside her. Case 12. The Shadow in the School. A security guard was working nights at an empty school when he started hearing things he couldn't explain. Sounds moving down the halls, coming out of rooms he'd already locked. He figured it was just a tired mind in an old building, but it kept happening, night after night, until he got sick of wondering if he was losing it and hit record on his phone. He just wanted to prove the place was empty. It wasn't. Down the hall, a dark shape stands there, dropping out of sight and coming back, like it's deciding whether it wants to be seen. He went after it. Nobody there. Doors locked, halls dead quiet, and this figure sitting right there on his screen, gone the moment he got close. People say a girl died in that school years ago and never left. Maybe that's connected. He walked out shaken, and once you see what he caught, you'll understand why. If this kind of thing hits close for you, it's okay to talk to someone you trust. Case 13. The Figure Outside. An officer got called out to a newly built house after someone reported a break-in. The owners were away, so it was just him. He went through the place a few times, room by room, and came up with nothing, nobody inside. But something about it felt off to him even as he was leaving, and he couldn't figure out why. Then he got back to his car.
At least I know I'm not crazy, because there's definitely somebody standing right there. Tell me how nuts. And now they're back. You see it?
From out there, looking at the house he'd just cleared, he sees somebody standing inside, plain as anything, a person right there through the window. You can hear it hit him on the recording, and then he looks again, and they're gone. Empty window. A few seconds later, they're back.
Tell me I'm fucking crazy. That's the creepiest shit I've ever seen in my life. Absolutely not.
Standing in the exact same spot, staring out at him. He'd already searched that whole house. There was nobody in it. Case 14. The Door. Some of the strangest things caught on camera happen on the most boring nights, and this was one of those. A quiet police station, late, nothing going on. One of the officers is sitting inside near the front when he starts telling the others that he keeps seeing something outside the glass door. A shape out there in the dark. A figure standing on the other side of the entrance where nobody should be. The others don't take him too seriously at first. You wouldn't either. And then the camera catches what happens next. The front door swings open, hard. Not the slow creep of a door that wasn't shut right, but a real shove, the kind that takes weight behind it, flying open like somebody grabbed it and threw it wide. Except there's nobody there. The doorway is empty, the same dark the officer had been staring into the whole time. People online said it was the wind, of course, because that's the easy answer. But the officers who were actually in that room weren't having it. That door was heavy, way too heavy for a gust of wind to move like that, and they'd all just heard one of their own swear something was standing outside it seconds before it flew open on its own. Case 15. The Empty House. On November 22nd, 2021, a woman came home to the house she'd been renting and found her front door wide open. She didn't leave it like that. Nobody was supposed to be in there. She'd only had the place about a month, and that night it was just her, so she called the cops and told them she thought somebody broke in. 2 officers showed up and asked her a few quick things outside. They told her to wait by the door and went in, calling out ahead of them.
How's it going? What seems to be the problem?
I left for a while to go shopping, and when I came home, the door is open. I think somebody broke in.
Does anyone live in the house?
Yes, my husband, myself, and our 2 kids, but they're out of town right now. They're with his parents.
And how many rooms do you have?
2 upstairs and 1 downstairs.
Alright, we're gonna have to go and search the house. Is it okay if we go in?
Yeah, of course.
You don't have any, like, pets or dogs or anything?
No.
Just stay here, man. Police! If anyone's here, make yourself known. Police!
And look, people always ask why the officers didn't just turn the lights on. You don't do that. You're in a house you've never been in before looking for someone who might want to hurt you, so you're not going to take your hands off your weapon to go feeling around a wall for a switch. So they went room to room in the dark with flashlights and body cams, and that was it. One went downstairs, the other went up. For a while it was boring, just boots on the floor and light moving over the walls and the sound of their own breathing in a quiet house.
Anyone inside?
Downstairs clear, upstairs clear. No intruder, no broken locks, nothing to explain why that front door was hanging open when she pulled up. Here's where it gets weird though. She told the officers she lived there with her husband and 2 kids. Family home, right. Every closet they opened was empty. Not messy or half unpacked the way a real closet looks, like nobody ever put a single thing inside them. The whole place felt like it had been sitting empty for a long time, even though a family was supposed to be living there. And I don't know, maybe they just hadn't moved their stuff in yet, but watching the video back it feels wrong, and you could tell both officers felt it too, even though neither one said anything. Should have been done at that point. House is clear, write it up, go home.
Police! Anyone inside, make yourself known. Downstairs clear. clear? Yeah, we're good.
Then doors started opening, and not slowly, not like wind pushed them. They were swinging open right as the officers got close to them. Right as they stepped toward a door, it would open on its own, like whatever was behind it heard them coming. Their breathing changes on the body cam around here. Gets heavier, gets faster. That thing your body does when it knows something's wrong before your head has figured it out. Footsteps after that. Heavy ones, loud, right behind them in the hallway they'd just walked through. Both officers heard it and turned around at the same time, and there was nobody there. No person, no movement, nothing. An empty hallway that a second ago had something walking through it. They searched the whole place again after that, and checked every spot a person could hide in. Nobody. Both body cams backed that up. Whatever was moving through that house was close enough for 2 trained officers to hear it the whole time, and not once, not a single time, did either of them get a look at it. Case 16. The transport van. Here's the thing nobody can explain. Before any of this happens, look at her eyes. She's not scared. She's just watching something that isn't there, like she can see it and nobody else can.
Okay. Put your feet in.
Man, put your feet in so we can close the doors.
You're just gonna close the door. You stay right there before we move. Hey, calm down. Calm down. Calm down. Back up. Back up.
Then her voice changes. It drops low, rough, almost like it's not coming from her anymore. Just for a second. Then it's gone.
Back up. Hold on. Hey, get your foot back in there. Get your foot back in there. Get your foot back in there. Ma'am. Ma'am, we're going to have to tase you. You're not going to like that.
I don't understand what you're telling me.
Secure in a different...
2 grown men can't hold her against that doorframe. They warn her about the taser and she doesn't care. That's not normal. Cops who've done hundreds of arrests don't usually walk away looking like that. Something about that minute stuck with them. Case 17. The house alone. Most of these investigations happen with a whole team, but this one is a single guy walking into an abandoned house completely on his own, and that's what makes it hard to sit through. He'd been to this house before. It's the same place where he says a ghostly woman once climbed out of the basement.
Здесь сегодня я точно остаюсь. Как бы реально не было страшно, ужасно. Просто жесткий полтергейст. Все начиналось с небольшой паранормальной активности, ну а закончилось все просто лютой жестью. Здесь уже много лет никто не живет. Дом вот уже в таком плачевном состоянии. Сейчас я вам его покажу. И сегодня я попытаюсь выяснить, кто здесь, что за сущность обитает в этом доме, и попытаюсь выйти с ней на связь при помощи ЭГФ. Бля, снова эти фотки. Блин, я их терпеть не могу. Сейчас, друзья, я покажу, я сам смотреть не хочу, если честно. Здесь кто-нибудь есть из мира духов? Ты можешь выйти со мной на связь? Дай мне знак.
And now he's come back alone at night to set up his cameras and try to catch whatever's living down there. He says right at the start that he's scared, but that no matter how bad it gets, he's staying the whole night this time. The house is wrecked. Nobody's lived in it for years. And almost right away, he finds something he doesn't like. Photos. Old funeral photos laid out where he can see them. The kind of thing that makes your skin crawl before anything's even happened.
Не знаю, друзья, пока что полная тишина. Вот только слышал стуки, грохот в соседней комнате. Возможно, это просто падают кирпичи.
Звук как будто...
Вот, только что. Сейчас был звук. Будто бы кто-то... Удары, в общем, исходили отсюда. Посмотрим. Вроде ничего там не видно сейчас. Не. Пробуем еще в этот бок. Блин. Нет. Позже еще пофотографирую. Можно голову разбить. Не понимаю, может этот полтергейст, эта сущность покинула дом вместе с жителями.
And he admits he doesn't want to look at them himself. He sets up his tripods in one of the rooms anyway and starts trying to make contact, asking over and over if anyone's there, if whatever's in the house will give him a sign. For a long stretch, it's just him and silence, and then the house starts talking back in small ways, knocking and banging coming from the next room. He tells himself it might just be bricks falling in an old place like this, but every time he asks for a sign, the knocking answers him, and that's a hard thing to keep calling a coincidence. Then the sounds move. They start coming from under the floor, from the basement, heavy thuds like something down there is climbing its way up toward him.
Так, ладно, эта камера. Пускай будет тут. Я брать с собой не буду. Ладно, пошел я вниз. Сейчас снова запущу ЭГФ и пофотографирую. Так, друзья. Так, он будет сразу делать 10 фотографий. Охренеть, блядь. Мне по ноге реально зацепило сейчас. Кто здесь? Кто здесь?
He tries an experiment he's never done before, killing all the lights and taking long, slow photos with the flash to see if it catches anything his eyes can't. The pictures come back strange, a shadow off to the side in one of them that he can't explain, there in the shot when there was nothing in the room. He climbs up into the attic to check it out, notes how it's way too big for such a small house, leaves a camera running up there, and heads back down to run more sessions. This is where it turns on him. While he's down there, a rustling sound starts up again. That same feeling of something coming up out of the basement. And then, in the dark, something grabs his leg. He feels it catch him, and he's genuinely terrified now, saying it out loud, trying to talk himself back into calm because he's completely alone with whatever just touched him. And it doesn't stop there. A little later, a heavy cabinet falls on him. He turns around, and it's coming down, and it catches his leg on the way, and he didn't even get it on film because it happened so fast. Most people are gone by now. He isn't. Even with a cabinet knocking him down and something grabbing at him in the dark, he says he's staying until whatever's in that house finally answers him properly. He ends it by saying to be continued, alone in a broken house at night, still waiting on a thing that had already put its hands on him once and seemed more than willing to do it again.